morning, everyone. My name is Felina Harris. For those of you who may not know me, I am a business relationship manager for the North Carolina Department of Information Technology. And we're so glad to have you here at this town hall, whether it's your first one or your 10th one, we're glad to have you here. We started these town halls a couple of years ago, and we have them quarterly, like clockwork. And we hope that if this is your first time, that you will join us again. If this is your 10th time, we hope you're still enjoying the town halls. So we would like to get started with our introductions. I would like to introduce you to, I'm going to hit my next page, Erin. Am I going to say it right, Erin? Wania?
Winia.
Erin Winia. But before I introduce you to Erin, I'm going to go over the agenda for today. So we will have Erin Winia. Did I say it right that time? Erin Winia will speak to us about some legislative updates. We will do a couple of announcements from NCDIT. Vina and Shriram will do an introduction on the new NCDIT support portal. We'll also have an update on MSI-SAC, which much anticipated update from Jennifer Fix, who is with our ESRMO team. And Jamie will give us some updates on our vision, mission, and goals for our department as well. And as always, we will have an open forum session at the end. So at this time, we will introduce you to Erin Winia, who is the League of Municipalities. I can't talk today. League of Municipalities Director of Government Affairs. So Erin, I will turn it over to you, and I'm going to actually stop sharing so we can see you. There we are.
Great.
There we go.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that really kind introduction, Felina. And thank you to you and your team for inviting me to give a legislative update. I'm really excited to do it and glad to be with everybody. Hope you're having a good morning so far and that you've been having a good week. You probably have never heard me give a legislative update before, but maybe you heard one of my colleagues just a couple weeks ago if you were at the Nickel-GISA conference down in Wilmington. Patrick Buffkin on our team gave a legislative update. And I imagine some of you heard that. So some of this content that I'm about to go over with you, maybe a refresher, maybe I'll have a few new points or a different spin on it. But I'm delighted to be with you. The League of Municipalities is an organization that's been around since 1908. It is a statewide membership association. And on the government affairs team, what we work to do is we represent the interests of all the cities and towns in North Carolina. So that's over 550 of them who are members of the league, and we carry their collective interests forward at the state legislature, state agencies like DIT, as well as a little bit at the federal level with members of Congress. So we like to call ourselves a one-stop shop for all things municipal government. And we're a pretty big organization, so it's not just government affairs. We provide a lot of different services that kind of extend the reach of your local governments. And I'll be referencing some of those before my little bit of time here is done. So I was asked to speak about what's going on at the legislature right now. The legislature, as you probably know, runs in 2-year sessions. So we have fall elections in the even-numbered year, and we're looking ahead to those later this year. Once those elections are finished and the new legislature is determined, they come back in January of the odd-numbered year. They come back to Raleigh, and they do what's called the long session. Last year's long session started in January. It stretched well into the summer. And then there were periodic check-ins, is what I'll call them, that took place throughout the interim period. And then in late April, they picked back up with regular session back in Raleigh. And we've been going since then. I expect this session there's no firm end date, but I do expect it'll go at least through 4th of July. And there will probably be lawmaking right up until the end of the calendar year. Even post-election, they'll probably come back and do some things. So we have a lot of lawmaking ahead of us. But you probably know the big thing that was on this year's agenda for legislators is getting a state budget. The legislature, the last time they did a 2-year comprehensive budget was 2023. So it's been a long time. There's a lot of funding needs, a lot of growth in our state that's happened since then, and a lot of demands on the legislature to do something, including pay raises for state employees and teachers, with a particular focus on our public safety sector, prison guards, probation officers, that wing of state government. Is really suffering right now with their salaries. Those haven't been adjusted in years. And so there's some political pressure on legislators to get a state budget put together and passed. I've been in the building all week. I can say that the mood as to the budget and its prospects is pretty good right now. The big chief budget writers from both the House and the Senate have been talking a lot, and those conversations seem to be progressing. That's a good thing for our state. It's also a good thing for interest groups, which, like the League, tend to try to use their time in the General Assembly addressing issues and proposals that other groups have brought forward. And a lot of times those are proposals that local governments either would like to see changes made to or just want to stop completely. So we play a lot of defense there. Once the state budget is agreed to and voted on, usually they don't spend too much more time in session. So that's what I would expect. Whenever you do see a state budget, things will wrap up really quickly. They'll go home and they'll start campaigning for their fall elections. So the state budget's kind of the big thing that's hanging over everything, but those are behind the scenes, closed door discussions. There's a lot that's been happening out in the open that affects local governments that I'd like you to be aware of, even though I know your slice of it is technology. So the first thing to be aware of, and probably the most consequential for local governments in North Carolina, is a proposal for a constitutional amendment that proposes to limit the property tax levy. As you can imagine, that's a popular idea. We think voters are going to go for it. They're going to tell the General Assembly to come back and limit local government property taxes. We don't know how. Groups like ours will ideally be playing a pretty big role in describing that legislation and helping to influence what it looks like. Of course, we take the side of local governments. We want to see local governments have sufficient revenues to support operations. And there's a big worry right now, depending on how that levy limit would be described, that there won't be enough money to go around. You all know, at least on the municipal side, the biggest part of budgets is public safety. It's paying for police, fire protection. Another big chunk of, and I'm talking about the general fund side, so put aside your water and sewer systems because we know those are enterprise budgets. Those are not affected by property tax, but the property tax side of the budget, the general fund side, in cities, you've got public safety, roads, roads and bridges is another big part of the budget. And then you have everything else taking up, in most cities, what's a pretty small percentage of the budget. If your managers are looking to have to cut things, you and I can predict where that's going to fall. And you know your local government better than I do, but I think there's a cause for great concern. I think there will be, depending again on how these limits are described, there'll just be less money available for things like public safety equipment and investments in that, along with people. And then all the things that you look to cut, on the administrative side, just to try to get by. I think it's about to be very difficult for local governments, and it's a cause of great worry. But the legislature has made that decision. I think it was influenced by how the political climate looks this fall for the legislative majority. You probably know we have super majorities in both chambers of Republicans right now. They can stick together and vote to override Governor Josh Stein's vetoes. And so that's a pretty big power that they have. So that was a main thing that, while it's not technology specific, I do think will affect your line of work, unfortunately. Other things that we tend to work on a lot tend to be on the land use side. I'm not going to get into the details of those. What I will say is a recurring theme that I have noticed over the past several years from the development community has been frustration at the speed with which local governments process through permits, applications for development, and do those approvals. I know there's a lot of technology out there that can help with this. There's permitting software. There's, I don't think anything that exists at the state level that, is like one endorsed product necessarily. But that's something that if you all can figure it out locally and do it well, I know it would be a big service for your development community. It may also help us at the General Assembly to stave off some of these bills, like one we saw just yesterday, that gets very prescriptive about how much time local planning staff have to process through these applications and look them over, review them for compliance with your local code, and then approve those development applications. Um, it's really bad what the legislature comes up with when we can't solve our own problems. So I just want to put that on your radar. That's something that is technology focused that I know could help us in our efforts and ultimately help, a big constituency that your local government serves. Another thing that you may be aware of, another requirement that was put into place last year, this one would have come from your HR departments. The new requirement the legislature put in place is for every new hire, there has to be not just a background check, but an SBI background check if that role works with children in any capacity. That's what it says in the law, in any capacity that they work with children. So that's pretty extensive, that requirement. It's one that the SBI, we think, was not given proper resources to handle. We've been very worried about hiring in this Parks and Recreation summer hiring season. I haven't heard an update in the past couple weeks about how those background checks are going, but I understand it takes several weeks. We're seeking a legislative solution to try to speed that up. The SBI was given the opportunity to get a third-party vendor in place before this summer hiring season started. They have only gotten as far as issuing an RFP, so we don't think that third party will be in place until next year, probably, given the pace of state procurement. So local governments are kind of stuck right now with this requirement. I don't know if there's anything to be done at the local level from a technology perspective to speed that up. But I know that in some jurisdictions, this is a pretty big crunch on the hiring side right now. We have something in a proposed bill right now that would allow local governments to go to third-party background check vendors and utilize that route instead of the SBI. It has not made it into state law yet, but legislators at least were supportive and receptive. So we're hopeful for that. Part of the reason it hasn't made it into state law is because there just haven't been many laws passed. There's been a lot of talking, a lot of committees, but nothing that both chambers have agreed on together, with the exception of about, I think it's 5 bills so far that they've passed, along with these constitutional amendments that I referenced, like that property tax one. So while it feels very busy at the legislature, so far the output has been pretty low. Still a long way to go for a lot of these proposals. One thing I wanted to mention to you doesn't have to do with the legislature, but it does have to do with the federal requirement for all government units to be ADA compliant on their websites. And you may have heard of this. This was a requirement that was set to go into place in April. And then at the federal level, the federal government push that deadline back a year. So now if you're in a jurisdiction, and this applies to counties too, I know I represent cities, but this requirement applies to everyone. If you're in a jurisdiction above 50,000 in population, you now have to comply on, and I see it in the chat right here, April 26th. If you're under 50,000 in population, it's April 26th of 2028. So you have a little bit of time available. I want to see if I can share my screen real fast to show you all a website resource that our group has put together at the League of Municipalities. And hopefully you can see it now. I'm also going to put this website address in the chat once I finish up here. But this
Yes, we can.
website, okay, great. I'm glad you can see it. I'm just going to scroll down really fast to show you these tabs here. There are lots of different resources that my colleagues have complied and put here. If you haven't been paying attention to this, you really need to. There will be an expense associated with it, depending if you contract this out. You know, you'll have to go through that procurement. And so it could take some time, and I suggest you get going now if you haven't already. There's a webinar down here that's free to you. We also have another webinar that our group is putting on June 11th, which I think is next week at 11 a.m. And you can sign up for that as well. And I'll get the link to that sign up in the chat momentarily. But I just want to make sure to mention that. Seems like you're the right group to remind about that particular requirement. I think I'm at my time. I don't know if there's any questions, if there's time for that, but I'm happy to take them if so. Thank you.
So we have a couple of comments and a question for you. Jamie was talking about your permitting solutions are very common among boards and commissions, and mentioned that DEQ is the champ at permitting. And also Peter mentioned that Guilford County uses Tyler EPL, and there's a significant focus on continuously improving their processes. Michael Kelly had a question. Michael's question was, does the group know the bill referenced impacting local government permitting mentioned? Let me see. Is Yelena on here? Because I know there was a mention of that bill. I don't know if you know it, Erin.
I unfortunately it just got introduced yesterday. I can look it up real fast and put it in the chat. I think it has a Senate bill number, Senate Bill 1047 maybe. But I'll look it up for you, and I'll also pull out the section number so you can go and read it. It's a pretty detailed description of timelines for approving these development applications.
Right. And you're going to put the link to that website in there, and the registration for that June 11th webinar. Perfect. And that information that Erin shared, that she's going to share in the link, and in the chat as well. When I send out the follow-up email, I'll put that in the follow-up email as well. Anyone have any other questions for Erin? Okay.
I'll just say thank you, Erin. That was amazing updates. It's really great to know there's advocates for these stakeholders working on lots of fronts. So I'm just thank you for joining us in great updates.
Well, thank you. You're most welcome. Great to meet all of you. I'll also put my contact information in the chat. If any of you have questions, just reach out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Erin. We appreciate
Thanks for the
you.
invitation. All right.
No problem. We may call you back again. Perfect. All right. So we'll move on to our next topic. I'm sorry, Jamie, did you have anything to say after that? I didn't want to. Okay, perfect.
I didn't.
Our next topic. Thanks. Our next topic is local government collaboration and engagement updates. That will be moi. So it was so good to see so many of you 2 weeks ago. Wow, time is flying. At the NCLGSA conference in Wilmington. I just wanted to talk about the different engagement opportunities we've had over the last few weeks. And I ran into so many people I hadn't seen in a long time. Some didn't come to the fall conference. And so it had been a year since I'd seen some people. And NCDIT had a booth this year. If you did not know, we had a booth at the conference, and so many people stopped by to say hello, to ask about NCDIT, to have just conversations with us. And so we were glad to see so many people stop by. As we joked with Bernice, she was very popular. A lot of people were asking for Bernice, asking about security, which is a good thing. So if anyone else has any of the lingering questions from the conference, we actually had a contact list of people who we made contact with. But if we missed anything, or you still have any other questions for us, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. And and we will, yes, it was a great gathering. And we will make note of that and reach back out to you. We have reached out to a couple of people
since Amy Klobuchar's husband about her family.
Hey, can someone please put yourself on mute?
Jill Biden to do that to the First Lady.
Thank you. Yes, so it was, so if you have any other question or anything, please feel free to let us know. We do have a list, like I was saying. And with that list, we've reached out to, so there's some follow-ups with a few people. And some of you have reached out on your own to me and maybe to Jamie as well. So we're so glad to have that contact information. Chris, it was so good to meet you in person. Chris Johnston, he said Bernice was awesome, great that she was willing to be there. Yes, she was there and willing to have great conversations with those of you who were interested in speaking with her. So thank you for that, that comment, and we'll share that with Bernice, Chris. Also, some other, we've had the Digital Accessibility Community of Practice. That group has met since the conference. I think it was last week. And Nicole Shoemaker, I'm not sure if Nicole's on the call, but Nicole Shoemaker did a session at the conference talking about the accessibility deadline that was, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. But she talked about accessibility in general and making things compliant. And so we're so glad to see Nicole there speaking about that and speaking about how NCDIT can be of assistance to any of those who need help. And it was a great conversation. It was a great hour well spent at the conference. So the next slide is going to talk about the upcoming Digital Government Summit. I'm not sure if any of you got that email about this summit coming up, but it is coming up on August 19th. And I will attempt to share that link in the chat. And okay, Yelena is there. Let me back up some. No, Yelena, actually the next topic I may have you chip in for a second. But anyway, August 19th in Raleigh, we will have North Carolina Digital Summit, Government Summit. These summits are awesome. I've been going to the last few of them. They're great. There are local government agencies, state agencies, all coming together to discuss technology throughout North Carolina. If you haven't been to one, you need to come and enjoy the different sessions, the general sessions, the mini sessions. I call them mini sessions because some of them are like 15, 20, 30 minutes long. But just seeing everybody coming together and collaborating to talk about common technology issues that we all have, and not necessarily just issues, but things that are coming up. So if you haven't been to a summit, please go ahead and register. Sometimes they fill up and then you'll be put on a wait list, but we have a couple of months. Oh, thank you, Jamie. We have a couple of months and you can go ahead and get signed up for that. So Aaron just put in the chat, the proposed legislation with the local permitting timeline language is SB 1047. She was right. Aaron, it was in your brain. A Regulatory Reform Act of 2026. That information is there. I will share that again when I send out my updates. I'll share that as well. All right. Is anybody, you can come off mute. If anybody have any questions about the engagement or the upcoming summit, Jamie put the link in the chat, so you can go ahead and sign up there.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in and just say, after Aaron's segment, I think we should have a lunch and learn around permitting solutions. There are some really cool ones out there among the boards and commissions, and of course DEQ. I know they're not alone, but we have a lot of great solutions that are in place. So I think that might be, and I'm sure the local government folks have some really good examples of permitting solutions that they may have implemented. But I think that would be a great lunch and learn topic after hearing that update.
Right. Thank you, Jamie. So we have, yeah, perfect. Thank you, Jamie, for that.
Yeah, any other ideas, y'all let us know what additional engagement would be value added and timely for your needs.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Great. Michael said wonderful as always. Thanks, Aaron. Okay, great. All right, so our next topic is the actually I skipped the slide. it should have been the Title II. Okay, Aaron just mentioned it a while ago. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Aaron mentioned it a while ago about the deadline. The deadline for compliance was April 2026, but it was moved to April 2027. From my understanding from one of Amy's sessions, Amy and John sessions, they realized how much work it was going to be to get this completed. But one thing that we all must understand is just because it was moved to April 2027, that doesn't mean we need to wait until January 2027 to start working again. That means we need to continue to work to make our websites compliant. There is a lot of work to be done. So agencies are encouraged to continue the work and make sure that we are compliant by April 2027. Yelena, did I misspeak? Did I say anything did I miss anything? Do you want to add any information to that segment?
Good morning. No, this is all correct. And thank you for bringing accessibility of the websites to this as a topic to highlight. There was a great session, several sessions organized by Nicole at Nicole Giza, which I also attended. Lots of good information. I am glad that we all are looking together at this. And I want to emphasize that state is really expanding the opportunities for local governments to first to move to utilize the Digital Commons platform, which is a web platform developed and maintained by the state. And we are piloting several local governments onboardings on the accessible one code-based platform. If you have questions, please reach out. We will talk and share what we have. But there are also tons of resources that state is offering to local governments in support, including the website accessibility and quality monitoring service, so-called DAB-bot. This is a browser-based solution that can look at your website, the public-facing website, and help you understand the issues you need to address. This service is also available for local governments. There is also a statewide RFP under development to help agencies receive support through the kind of blanket RFP for accessibility services that will include testing of the website, providing review on compliance, and working on PDF remediation services. This RFP is almost done, and as soon as it will be officially published, this statewide contract will be available for local governments, and we will make sure to share with this community as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Elena. We appreciate you for joining and for that additional information that you just shared. Marie, 2020. The answer is both, Marie. If you have over 50K, it's 2027. Under 50K is 2028. So thank you for that question. Correct, Jamie. We have to keep the pedal to the metal. Don't let up. Marie said, phew. Okay, great. So now I'm going to turn it over to, let me share my screen again. My mouse is acting crazy. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to turn it over to Veena and Sriram to talk about the new customer support portal. Veena?
Yeah, thank you, Felina. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Can you all see it?
Yes, we can see your screen. Thank you, Veena.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Veena Shanmugam. I am the Director for IT Service Excellence. and the team mainly focuses on process improvements. As part of it, we have been working on a project called Accelerate, which is the ServiceNow re-architecture, and we have some updates as we are approaching go live. We'll actually provide the updates today, and also see how your teams or the leadership can actually help us make this successful. Okay. So for today's agenda, I will actually give a high-level overview and also provide the highlights. A lot has been done in this project, so just like at least cover on what benefits you will see as a user. And then Sriram, who's the ITSM platform manager, who's been heavily involved with this project, will also give us an update on like what to expect during the go live and post go live and during hypercare, and also like how the leadership and the agency IOs can help. For anyone who has not already seen this portal, Sriram will also give a quick demo on how the portal is, and we'll also share the links and also the training materials. So as I mentioned, to give a brief history, so this project kind of started almost like 2 years ago. Around like 2017-18 timeframe, we had actually moved from a ticketing tool called Remedy into ServiceNow. But at that time, we really did not leverage all the functions of and capabilities of ServiceNow, and we just like used it as a ticketing system. Okay, so we did an assessment early 2024 to see like how our processes, and we also had got some feedback from state and local governments to see like where we lack, and we do hear like that some of our catalog items are very complex to maneuver, and our process times are longer, and many issues like that, right? So we actually had taken all of that into consideration, and as we actually worked on moving DIT into its new instance, we have mainly focused on how do we modernize how we deliver IT services to the state. Okay, so as I mentioned, ServiceNow is the technology enabling this change, but it's not just moving to a new environment, okay, or moving DIT to its new tenant. Okay, so it's more than that. It's making sure like we're able to create a better experience for the users. Along the way, we are also making sure like we are strengthening and also like improving our ITSM processes for each of the process areas. Similarly, like strengthening our operational capabilities. And also, this is just a foundation for future innovation and continuous improvement. So this is just a start of release 1, which we are scheduled to go live on June 8, where you will see, whatever capabilities you saw in the old environment in an improved state, and we will continue to work on it to actually make it better. To provide some highlights, so one of the main things that you will notice is a dedicated portal called NCDIT Support Center portal, mainly for the users, local and state users. So this also helps remove the clutter. Now that we have like all of internal and external catalogs together, which makes it more complex, like we will also be like streamlining that process as we go into the new portal and making it very simple. Okay, as you can look at the screen, and I'm sure you will see more when Sriram actually goes through the demo. So who's already used to our current DIT portal and who's used to opening tickets with for specific catalog items, you will be able to find those catalog items here. And additionally, a new cool feature is the ability for the users to interact with case management. So what it means is, as a user, if you do not know if it's supposed to be a request or an incident, you can just submit a case, and the service desk behind the scenes will triage it and make sure it's labeled accurately, and then like sent to the appropriate teams, and get your issue resolved. Okay. The other ability is also like empowering the customer with the ability to reject a solution. In the current system, once the ticket is closed, if you're not satisfied with the solution, you will actually have to open a new ticket, right? Which is frustrating. But in the new system, you can actually look at the solution, and if you're not happy with it, you can reject it. So rather than having to create a ticket, that ticket will automatically get rerouted for future. Yeah. So am I hearing some background noise? Should I need to stop for questions, or can I keep going?
It was just a little clapping, I think. So keep going.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The other main thing is also the ability for all the leadership to see, the case and the ticket information across their agency. So currently, I don't think we have that ability. And I think only the manager or that particular team will be able to see. But going forward in the new system, you'll have the ability. I'm pretty sure Jamie and Felina would have already reached out to you all. If you have, other than the CIOs, if you have any designated leadership that you want to have this role, you can always talk to Jamie or Felina, and we should be able to get that in place if it's not already in there. So the next improvement is using Azure AD for automated user provisioning. And what it means is it helps maintain the life cycle of the user. It reduces the manual effort. So currently, if you actually want to use a portal, you actually have to call in and have the account created before you can actually log in to open your tickets, right? So that actually will be taken care. So the benefit of it is you have less hassle. It also is more secure. It also helps keeping your account active as well. So as people move in and out, inactive records or any stale records will be automatically handled. Okay. To clarify, also people who are currently using the NCDIT portal for opening tickets do use the NCID already in place. So that is not changing for you. So if you're already using NCIT portal and you're using NCDIT service portal and you're using NCID for authentication, it will remain the same. So no change for you at all. Okay, so even in the new system, once you have the link, you should be able to log in with your credentials and you'll be able to request services. We still have the facility where you can call the service desk and open tickets. This is just an additional feature, which is an existing but an improved version of it. So as I mentioned, we did here, have listened to your feedback, and also as part of the assessment, we have seen where we are, and we actually have made sure all our processes have been vetted, and significant changes have been made. So at least it will not impact the user, but at least we are making sure we are improving the process so that we can improve your user experience. And we are continuing to work on it, continue to work on our SLA management and all those. But at least this is the start, right? So we have made sure we are listening to your feedback, and we are actually implementing all those. At the same time, we also hear that our catalogs in the past have not been very easy, and we've also streamlined a lot of it. So as you start using it, you should feel it much more easy and intuitive. Then you'll be able to search easily as well, which Sriram will go through. And if you can, we are always here. The BRM teams are here, and the project team is here. As you go through the first few weeks, if you have questions, you can always open a ticket to us, and we can always help you there. So the other major highlight is which is not part of phase 1, but it will be soon coming in part of phase 2, is the ability of ticket transfer, where you can actually seamlessly move tickets between one agency to the other. If somebody accidentally opens a ticket to DIT, and if that has to go to an agency, currently it's a manual process. In the future, we are trying to see how it can be automated. So these are some of the highlights. I mean, as I mentioned, there is a lot that has been implemented as we move into the new instance, but these are just the major highlights. And I'll now turn it over to Sriram to go over what to expect on the go live. Sriram.
Hello. Good morning. And I am Sriram Venkatraman, ServiceNow Platform Manager for NCDIT. I will actually go over what to expect as we go through the go live weekend, and also go through some of the things that you can also pass on to your colleagues. So first, what do we expect? So we have actually worked on this for the last 2 years or so, and we did do a demo, I believe, few months back to the local government. So now is the real time where we actually go live. So that is quite exciting. It's a whole new way to deliver service, just like Veena was saying. So first about the go live. So we are, there should be communication. I do have some noise in the background, so if you could put on the mute to be helpful. Okay. I hope you are able to hear me, right? I didn't check. I think you are right. Okay. So communications are shared, and the main thing there that you can focus is basically portal link. So you may be going to the existing DIT portal, and then starting Monday, you would need to go to the new one. So if at all you want to take basically one thing from this, take that. So the link for DIT portal and actually services will change. And there is, I believe, a resource page, and there is also a link. So you can view that link and also pass on to your colleagues. There is also office hours planned. So after, June 4, which is basically today, 1 to 2:30. If you have, say, follow-up questions, which we are not able to address here, feel free to join that. We will be able to, address. And also BRMs are there for you always. And also project manager for this, effort, you can also reach out. So you have basically multiple ways to contact us and also get prepared for what is going to come. The go live weekend. So go live weekend itself, the actually main thing is from actually Saturday 12 p.m. all the way to Monday 7 a.m. We will not have access to the portal. So if you have something that you need from DIT, please do call the service desk, which is at 919-754-6000. I think the number is there on the slide. So that's the main thing you would need to know for this weekend. If you need anything that is actually urgent, cannot wait until Monday, please call the service desk. DIT is still open, just that it is through service desk. And then the go live weekend, and then after go live. So which I will actually cover through the demo. So I will actually show you how to create a ticket, how to find the services. I think there were some questions in the chat. What do I know? How do I find out? And I will actually cover that through the demo. But starting June 8, use the new DIT portal for all your question, comments, and all that. Service desk is always there, but I think portal may actually provide you a better way where you can be, you can actually track the status by yourself. And also, if you have anything that you would like for us to look at, there is a catalog item, which I will show as well. And you can actually use that to send it, and that will come directly my team, and we will follow up and also work with you. Whatever that you would need from DIT, if you have suggestions, ideas and things like that, you can for sure go to BRMs. But also, if it's actually specific to ServiceNow, feel free to use that. That's on this slide. I think I have covered most on this. Let's go to the next one, if you don't mind. Okay, thanks. So reinforced communication, right? So what do we need from you, right? So one thing that is quite challenging in this project is that we have a wide variety of stakeholders. So if you could help get the word out that the DIT portal is actually changing. At the minimum, if you can actually look at the link and then pass that link to your fellow colleagues that actually access DIT services. And that link will become active Monday. So we can actually pass the link, but if you try now, you may not be able to log in. And then there is also a training that is actually available about the portal, which is really nice training. So you can actually quickly get up to speed. You can also pass that to anyone that you think it will be helpful within your organization. And last but not least, we have actually worked a lot on this, but there is always, when you go through something this big, there is going to be a period where we would have to train, we would have to adjust, we would have to work through the new ways of doing it. So we do ask for your understanding on this, and then feel free to actually raise your question through the portal. You don't need to stop, just that know that we need some grace as we, we actually work through various things that we do get. So that is on what to pass. So the actually main thing on this page is if you can become aware of the portal link and then also pass on to your colleagues. That's the main thing from this page. If there are
not
one
any question in the chat.
I was just going to say, Vina, there's a question in the chat asking about access to CJ Leads. Can you
But I wanted to ask Kathy for just a little clarification. Are you asking for access to the CJ Leads system or access to support for CJ Leads access issues during Go Live? Because there's no change for how you access CJ Leads, but if somebody needs support during the go live. So this would be the GDAC portal, Sriram, I believe. And our service desk does have a call menu option for CJ Leads on our phone system. So I think I was just wanting Kathy to maybe let us know if she was asking about the system access or access to support for issues around system access during go live.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. When they normally go to get into CJ Leads, it goes to the DIT website. And then they click go to CJ Leads from there. Is there another way that they should be doing that? Because if they have to go to your site and it's down, then, I mean, it goes to, I could put the link that they have that they go to when they log into CJ Leads.
There won't be any change to that, Kathy. I'm glad you
None.
gave me some
Okay.
more context. They go to that through our website, and what
Right.
Sriram is demonstrating is our support portal. And a lot of people don't actually even engage with us on the support portal. I think it was Chris that asked a good question about what kinds of things would we even be going to this portal for as a local government stakeholder. So it's not everybody that uses this portal, and what you're referencing is I muted myself by accident, but what there's no change to the website, so there won't be any change to the way they access CJ Leads, and that won't be interrupted during go live.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you for asking, Kathy. Thank you so much for the question.
You bet.
Is there anything else before I go to the demo? Anything on the go live weekend, or what is the message to pass? Is there a list of services that NCID, I guess, provides to local government that we should be aware of, taking advantage? Okay. Okay. I think some of those we can also handle offline. So if there is not specific question about the go live, yes, will this deck be sent? I guess, Felina, that will be yes. So, okay. I think if there's anything that's big. Okay, if not, I will actually jump on to the demo, if it's okay. So what I plan to do for the demo today is basically two personas. One is going to be a local government user, right? And then see what it is. And, there was a question, what are the services? I don't know. I mean, I just want to know. So that can also be helpful here. So let me share my screen. And if I could get a thumbs up that you are able to see the screen. I think, okay, cool. Okay, so this is our new portal, and this is called NCDIT Support Center. So that's the name that we use. So anything that you want to get service for NCDIT Center, Support Center, it actually becomes a one-stop for you. This becomes a gateway for you to reach us, right? So now, I mean, this is basically test. There is no confidential information or, I mean, anything like that. So I'm just showing a demo. So I will just actually search various things and then show it to you. So to start with, I have actually logged in as basically Adam Kerr, who actually belongs to Alamance County. So Alamance County user. And he has been provisioned already. So I am just using that to log in. So when I log in, this is what I will see first, right? So when I come in, there is basically a lot of stuff here. And let me go through. Say that you don't know what you want to do, but you want to get some kind of information on website, like you are using DIT for the website services or, something like that. You could definitely search, and that's the obvious one. So you could search, website without even knowing what exactly you want to do with that. So there are basically meta tags on those, and then that should actually pick up, oh, okay, Digital Commons website support. So maybe that's what you were actually coming in. And then you can see what all you can do. Okay, maybe you need a request with add a web manager, or you have, broken items, whatever it is, right? So that's one way. I mean, I don't want to be focused on one specific catalog item, but the fact that you can actually generally search. So I would definitely, and that search will also get better with time. So definitely use the search if you actually don't know. And a lot of work has gone in to make sure meta tags are actually included on various catalog items, and we can always get it better. So don't be hesitant to play around with this portal. You can just search if you don't know anything. Okay, so that's actually one way, and that's quite powerful. But the second one is that, say that you are not aware of what are the services that are basically accessible, right? So you go here, request services, and when you go here, you should see the set of all of the, you will see various categories that on which we actually provide services. And you can see one of them is basically a digital service. Maybe that's one that it is of interest to you. So you could actually click there. Okay, digital accessibility support. I believe Elena spoke about that, or a digital commons website. So those are ones. Okay, digital commons website. Now, what can I do? Okay, I can come in and you will see that you have actually come into the same place I came by search, right? So this is just another way, but you can actually browse through the catalog. So think of it as basically Amazon catalog of, it's like Amazon catalog, but for DAT services. And this should be getting better and better with time. So these are the services which we have, and not all of the services you may use. So that is also there. So you can just look through this. So that's one way to get what you want. And also, again, you can search here. Say that you come here and you actually look through the catalog. You don't find what you want. You actually put the website. Okay, that's good. That's actually website quality, accessibility, website analytics. So you would get all of the things that have something to do with, it's not a huge list. It's not a huge list. So you should be able to. So we have made sure that it is meaningful search results, right? And even if you put something very general like data, right? Data is quite general, and then even then it actually brings up kind of relevant stuff when you look at the load balancing. Some of these are technical, but it brings up somewhat related to that data. So that's the second way is you go, just to recap, one was the search, and then the second way that we have done is through this request services. Say that you don't know which one, but you do know that DAT is actually providing, you can actually browse here. So if those two don't work, let's actually go to the third way, which is actually submit a case. So I don't know, I'm not able to find, I just want some help, and you do basically submit a case. And this one, if you have a problem for DAT to solve, but you don't know exactly, and you have tried to look through the catalogs, you have actually looked through the search, you are not sure which one to get. And this one is kind of a catch-all. And there you could actually say what you need. You could say, I need something else. And if you see here, the beauty is all your name and all of the details which we have is actually already there. So you don't have to put those in. You can put in the mobile number, but it's not required, obviously. And you actually go through and then you say, I think 1 to 3 business days is fine. Summary of the request. I would like to talk to someone from Digital Commons team. I'm just picking on them today because they are there. Elena is here. So about website or something like that, right? So need additional info, whatever that you need, right? I'm just putting something here for the demo, but this is a way that you can do a catch-all, and then you would actually submit the case, and then it goes, and then someone from DAT will actually definitely reach out, and you can also look at the status, which we will actually come back here. So let's go back to the original. So we actually did a search. We also looked through the catalog, and if all else failed, we actually came here and then put in a general case. Now, you might want to, so this is something called the knowledge. And this is, knowledge. So I want to caution. So we are actually starting out. There will be a lot more here. This is actually vetted information that goes through across multiple layers of betting within DIT. So day one, we may not have all of it, but this is an area where you can go in and look at the articles, meaning even before you reach out to the help desk and do actually put a ticket, if you want to find out about DIT, that's a place you could go. And I'll just go here. And as I said, this is a test, so you won't find same as production because we are basically playing around, but I'll show you some actually samples here that you can see. And there is also a search here. And there is also, so, what is hosting service? So you don't know what is the hosting service that DIT provides or whatever. And this is again test system, so don't actually take it as the final, but I'm just saying how you can get information. So what is hosting services, right? And hopefully all of the services may have something like this generally, so that you can get a quick recap of what we do within that service. So here for the hosting, it actually says, what do we do, right? Singular, we actually, help you set up servers and so on if you need DIT to host. And we hope to develop this a lot. So that's a great area for you to find yourself what you want. And then, so I think like here, I'm just trying to, again, the search should work. If you don't know, the search should work. I need to host or hosting, then it should work, how to, and all that stuff. So that's the knowledge. So you would hear us speak about knowledge, and that's what this is. So that's the third way that you can get information. So they are, you have actually many ways. So that's at a high level. And this one goes to basically chat. It's still kind of work in progress. We do have that, but I would not go so much there today. So these are the general actually portal. I will just show one more thing. And so this one, so if we are down on something before you, even you put a ticket, if there is outage, you would actually see it here. So that's a beautiful thing here. So that will actually help you prevent and also know the status. My actually recent and actually popular, that's kind of based on how, often you actually come and see yours will be here. I just searched on these three and that's the reason you see these three here. And popular items is those that are actually across the board. That's the high level on the portal itself. I do have one more or probably 2 or 3 things more to show. I guess, Felina, are we good on time or?
Absolutely, you're good on time.
Okay. Okay, that actually sounds good. Thank you. So I think this is on the portal. I'll just take a quick pause here. And maybe the so here you could also go from here, but the one I would like to highlight here is my actually cases. Say that you have we have actually put a case here, right? So you want to track the status of it, and you can see that you can actually come here and you will see all of the cases which you have put in. And now we know that I just put in this. It shows draft, meaning someone has not yet looked at it. But once they look at it and then they actually provide, you will get both email and also you would be able to also communicate with that person through here. When is ETA? ETA on this? Whatever that you have. I am looking for a specific type of website or whatever it is, right? Specific type of website support or something like that. You can actually communicate with the person whom the case was assigned to, and they will actually get this directly, and they can put status and so on. So this is a great one. So you don't necessarily have to wait for them to respond. You have this portal, and there is also empowering that Veena was saying once it is actually resolved. I won't show that today, but once it's actually resolved, you could actually reject the case. Meaning you say, we don't do that much, but occasionally it may happen. And when it does happen, we want to give you the chance to say, I was asking for something else, so that we can actually help you get what you want. That is on, I guess, my cases. I do want to show one more thing, and then with that, I will probably stop. So there is one more feature, and one thing that we have asked, we have been asked earlier is that I am a CIO, and for some, I would like to know all of the cases that are put in by my org and how are they serviced, right? So that's an area that until now we were not really able to help with a whole lot. I mean, we can provide some kind of general queries, but it's not a very great friendly experience. So I did have one that I'm going to use today. Give me just a minute. I think I have that. Give me just a minute. Okay. So I did create a test agency user, and I will share my, okay. I hope you're seeing my new screen too, right? I think you should. So are you able to see test non-DIT agency CIO? I shared the whole window. I want to make sure.
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. So here, this is basically, it could be CIO or CIO's designee, right? And you can always contact the BRMs and we can actually set that up. And once we set that up, that person, I mean, they will have all of the functionality just like you all, but they also have my org cases, which means they don't just see their own cases, they will see their organization's cases. And this is basically test, as you can see. And even though it says non-DIT agency, it was set under DHHS for the testing purposes because we have cases to show. So you can see that I actually logged in as this person. I mean, not actually artfully named, but this is what we use for testing. And you would see that there is, I mean, you know, we have Christine Ebb, who has actually put in a case, and you can actually look at the status of it, what happened in actually live system. You would see what's the status. Maybe it's not the way that you would like to have, and so on. Sorry.
And I'll just jump in here a little bit as you're showing some of this awesome capability, because it wasn't something we have in our current portal, and it does enable a stakeholder that we call a CIO at the state agency level, and many local government groups do have a CIO, but some groups don't have somebody that has that title. And so as we go live and further, we want to make sure that the folks that do need that cross-agency look to see what are all the cases that are getting submitted from anybody within my local government org. If you're one of those people, we can get you set up so that you have that visibility from the portal, just like if you were the designated CIO. So I just didn't want folks that don't have a CIO or they support that type of role at the local level to not feel like they could ask for that setup. But yeah, definitely reach out after go live if that's something that would be valuable for your role.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, Jamie. So so that's on the MyArc cases. I think there are more. I would not go into it. This is a high level demo. So I will actually keep it here. And then if there are, I think I'll probably end my demo. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer. If not,
thank you, Sri.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sriram. We truly appreciate that demo. That was very helpful for those who have not seen it. And as Sriram mentioned, if you have any additional questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can reach out to me or Jamie and let us know what your questions are. We'd be more than happy to answer them. Or if we don't know the answers, we'll reach out to Veena and Sriram to get the answers for you all. Again, thank you so much, Sriram. And there will be more communication coming out about the Go Live. I'm assuming there will be more communication coming out. The Go Live, as they stated, is June 8th. And we're looking forward to seeing the new Go Live. I was really clapping my hands, Sriram, when you said the customer, or maybe it was Veena. I'm not sure which one. I think it was Veena who mentioned that if a customer sees that their issue is not resolved, they can open it back up. That is amazing. That is awesome. I'm so glad to see that option is there. Yeah. So also, Veena mentioned, Sriram mentioned the office hours. That's today from 1 until 2:30. if anyone is interested in joining Vina and Sriram, I'm assuming that they can. If they, I think there was a link on one of the screens. If we can get that link in the chat, you can join the office hours if you want. If you don't, that's fine. We'll have a separate session after go live as well. Vina and Sriram and I talked about that, having another session as well after go live, which may be more helpful because it's live at that point. So we'll make sure that you do get additional access to be able to ask questions too.
Thank you, Felina.
So thank you again. Oh, go ahead, Vina.
It's already in the chat. I've actually.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate
the
that.
Link, the training, and also the office hours are in the chat for anyone to use.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Thank you so much. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So we're going to move on to our next topic. And let me share my screen again. And that is going to be Jennifer Fix, who's going to fix all the problems in the world. I'm just kidding, Jennifer. I just had to say that.
Well, I will
so
fix
Jennifer,
as many as I can.
right, exactly. So Jennifer, I think you wanted to share your screen.
I do. Can you all see it?
Okay. We can see it. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. So we have some questions. So I wanted to come today just to provide some follow-up and an opportunity for you all to ask questions directly if you had any specific questions. But it was really related around the MS-ISAC funding. And I think as you all, or most of you know, last year, MS-ISAC lost the funding that was providing a lot of the threat intel information and communications to state and local agencies. When that happened, we had conversations with them on what would a whole of state approach to providing these services look like if North Carolina could engage in some sort of contract with them to keep continuation of the services. And the challenges last year, transparently, was just that it was such a large ask. There was no funding available to cover what MS-ISAC was needed to cover that gap in what was lost fully by the federal funding. So what happened last year, I think it was actually about March of this year, when it was all said and done, is that North Carolina purchased what was called a transitional membership. And unfortunately, that only at this time covers state agencies and not local entities directly. So that's not a like for like as what is available to local that from this year. So that again, as we know, leaves a gap. What I've found, in my conversations with them since then is like, how are you covering some of that gap for the local entities? And really, there's two things that local entities can do. One is just participation in the Limited Connect program. That's the no-cost piece of the MS-ISAC program that provides access to things like CIS benchmarks and the CIS Secure Suite. I think it also provides some other like collaboration tools, ability to connect with other states and things like that. The other option is local entities can purchase a membership individually. The cost of that membership is based on the operating budget. So also as part of that, any entity with an operating budget of less than 25 million is covered at no cost through that local program. And I did find a slide that kind of shows the tiers and the costs for that program. I'm showing it on the screen, but I also put a link in the deck that we'll send out after this so that you have a link to that too, and that you can look at some of the additional information on their website. But basically, they have different pricing just based on this tier. They also do have those add-on services, but this tiered pricing basically provides the benefits that were provided by the federal funding previously in previous years. So for future state, I will just say conversations are ongoing too. We participate in monthly meetings with them, North Carolina, along with a lot of other states. Bernice and I sit on the panels. We're providing the feedback. We're talking about the challenges and why we need additional options to be able to have an affordable funding bundle that covers a whole of state approach. So please continue to give that feedback as well when you're in conversations where MS-ISAC might be present or others that can help spread the word that this is a really important program. And it is something that we want to continue to cover as best we can. Definitely more to come. If we see things starting to shift or some affordable models start showing up that might switch us to that whole of state approach, we will definitely let you know. It is something that I do know Bernice wants as part of the Secure NC program. We're offering the Tanium, we're offering the other solutions. We would like to offer an affordable solution to cover this as well. In the meantime, also our ESRMO team at the state does continue to get threat intel from multiple sources outside of MSISAC. We are following several industry feeds, and when we get threat intel that's helpful to you guys, they will shoot out emails to the distribution list or contact entities directly if we see things or hear of things that may be targeting different local entities. So it's not the best news in the world, but I will tell you we are trying hard and we are continuing the conversation and trying to highlight the importance of this so that we can get a structural change across all of the states to help continue funding what was a very beneficial program. And with that, I'll just open it up to questions. If y'all have specific questions, specific things you want to discuss related to that, I'm happy to answer them.
Anyone have any questions for Jennifer? Jennifer, I'll speak on behalf of the locals that it is much appreciated that ESRMO is fighting for that and trying to make that happen. Thank you so much for the efforts you all are making to try to make that happen, because that is very much needed. I know a while back when we were still on the listserv, that was, everybody talked about it, wanting to know how the state could help. And I hope that we are able to make that happen at some point. Yeah. Anyone else can come up? Oh, go ahead. Who's that?
No, I agree. And the message is loud and clear from other states too. It is, we are all going in this united front, just trying to figure out what the heck we can do to keep the program going.
Right. I'm in international organizations as well and hearing the same thing. So I can attest to that. It is happening all over. So anyone have any other questions for Jennifer? I think I heard someone speak up.
Yes, David Webb.
Hey, David.
I'm with a state entity, I'm with community colleges with the system office. So, we are a member of MSISAC from that, but I know for the local governments, one thing and you may be able to speak to this as to how comprehensive the distribution list is, because that's one thing local governments may want to do if they want to receive the threat intel, is make sure that they are subscribed to the list. And I'm assuming you would do that by emailing ESRMO at nc.gov.
Yep, that is absolutely right, David. We are always happy to add more people to the security liaison and the other distribution lists that we take and keep in the threat intel office. So if you're not receiving any of that from us, definitely email that ESRMO at nc.gov and we'll get you added to the list. Thanks, David. It's a great call out.
Can I ask a question about Tanium?
Yes, absolutely.
So I know early on there was a thing about entities signing up by July 1st to guarantee the no cost. So in connection with that, I'm curious about what I know the funding was for 2 years. And so that when I talk to colleges about it, I wonder about what that 2 years is. If it's like if they sign up and it starts July 1st, is it 2 years, or is there a more static time frame for the 2 years of guaranteed funding?
Great question. Right now we are working with Tanium to renew our agreement. So as part of that agreement, we'll have a better idea of what the continued funding looks like. I think we are going to expand beyond the July 1st date or the July 31st date that was originally given as well. So I will announce that here. I'm hoping to get some communication out about that. We do have some additional funding through September and our renewals happen in September. So we are going to keep the program going because people are still interested and still signing up. So as part of that, I think our funding for sure is we will have probably 2 years again once we get that contract agreement renewed and signed, which should be by the end of July. But that's kind of the hope. 2 years, I would say the end of July is the goal.
Thank you.
There was a question in the chat from Peter Purcell. Will the state fix this with the federal government for us?
I would love to. I would love to have that kind of power. I don't. All we can do is our voices at this point. So that is 100% what we are trying to do.
Thank you for the humor, Peter. Well, Jennifer, we truly appreciate you. I know that wasn't the best news, as you mentioned, but again, we appreciate the efforts that the team is making to try to make this happen and fix it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone have any other questions for Jennifer? Okay, so we're going to move on to our next topic, and which is the vision. Let me share my screen again. And Jamie, you are up.
And this is exciting. This comes from the office of our new secretary. We didn't really say that at the beginning, but it's not really new news anymore. We do have a new secretary at NCDIT, Secretary Nate Denny. I use the phrase new. He's not new to DIT or this ecosystem or a lot of the challenges that he is working on since he's been at the helm. And some of these artifacts that I'm showing you here are some of the refreshed mission, vision, and values that have been drafted, and we've started to socialize internally and with our state agency partners, and we want to share some of this early information with you as Secretary Denny adapts and helps us pivot to some really exciting new vision, mission, and values. And I'm just going to let you read them and kind of see some of the very intentional phrasing that has been put here. It echoes some of what we've talked about in this session already. We want to be accessible. We want to be responsive. We want to be efficient. And that portal that Sri Ram and Veena shared is part of the foundations for us as we take this journey towards achieving that vision. And the mission goes into a lot of really good, very intentional words, safe and connected. We're better together, and when we combine efforts, we can accomplish a lot more. And so I love some of those phrases in our new mission statement. The next slide are some of the new values that are being socialized and indoctrinated as we move forward. A lot of these are not drastically new, but they're intentionally selected for the journey that we have ahead, and how we hope to support some of the governor's initiatives and priorities and goals. And so this does have a very strong alignment with the governor's value or goals and priorities. And there's a lot of strong connection and influence in what you see in some of these new ones. But community is one I'll pause on. Again, we know we are better together and we can do amazing things. So that's one of the great things about the relationships and the engagement that we're fostering with this group and with stakeholders from your agencies. So we just appreciate your time, and we will absolutely continue to socialize more. We have some goals that we're working on and objectives, and those are going to be equally exciting and fun to share and collaborate with you all on. So that is all I wanted to share from our new secretary that has hit the ground running, and he's got us all on a game clock. He's a Tar Heel, just FYI, and I do feel like if I walked into his kitchen, he's got a game clock there. He is working every day that he has to execute on some of this goodness. So we're all excited about that, and we wanted to share those updates today.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. It's good to hear these values and mission and statements from our secretary. That's awesome. At this time, we're going to open up the floor for the next 8 minutes for any other questions, comments, concerns, anything that we didn't address today that we can either partially address or fully address. This is your time. All right. That's awesome. Please no. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I hear you. Who is that?
It's Chris Johnson from the town of Hillsborough.
Hey,
Hi.
Hey, Chris.
Is this the appropriate venue to ask about that catalog of local service government, or is that offline still a better venue for that question set?
What was your
That
question? I'm
is
sorry.
a great question. And if you don't mind, Felina, I got a little bit of practice doing this at the booth because this was like one of the FAQs at the booth. And so I can show you a few of the things that are kind of our go-to. And then we're absolutely happy to help you find anything more specific, either on our website or service portal or wherever it is. But I'll open up a couple of things and then share my screen.
And I want to be clear, I went through the NCDIT catalog and tried to figure out, what was pertinent or relevant and that sort of thing. And I feel like I saw a lot of great candy in the windows, and I just wasn't sure if that was for me or not. So just wanted to be clear.
Yes, and I'm going to brag on Jennifer and Bernice on their webpage, on our website. They have put a block there that says state agencies, local government. It's so easy. And Felina and I were just talking about that yesterday. And we want to do the same thing for our services because it's not as easy as what Bernice and Jennifer have done as they've fixed it. But I'm gonna click on hosting. And we have a lot of hosting services, and I'll shrink this. We have a lot of hosting services. Our co-location services is kind of pretty popular. And so I'll click into that one, and I'm going to click. Sorry, I have to scroll. And this is why it's not easy to find the exact piece of information. Okay, right here. This is a required service for state agencies. And I'm going to try to find. This was not a good one to ask. And so this, you're living the dream that we are trying to fix. There's a lot of the pages have a little section here that will say who it's available to, but this one is a little it's not as clear, but co-location is available for state agencies and local governments. This is one that is available and accessible to request from any group. And so only a few that I would say are probably not permissible for a local government to inquire about. And so it is gray and it is hard to find. I'm going to try to find at least one. I think Elena's service actually does a really good job of this. I should have.
Your video and audio frozen up.
Sorry. But this
is a new system to put in a help ticket in.
Exactly. I'm so glad that you said that, because frankly, that is it's not easy to understand all of the services and capabilities that DIT has. And so we want to make it easier. We don't want y'all to have to understand the inner operations of DIT to be able to request something. So you're spot on. The case is the new ticket for when you just don't know what you don't know, but you think you want to get some information and direction. But I do think this one has right here, customers suggested for any state agency, board, or commission. It's not required for any. And so this is the hidden gem that helps to find out, is this something that is not permissible for a local government? Because it would be captured right here in this customer section on each of our services. But I'll echo the good suggestion about using our new case submission. But I'm glad I was able to at least find one. But that's for the services. And so our website is a great place to look for all of our service capabilities. Use the search bar. It does have a great search capability, and the how-to is pretty functional. But the other question was about the state contracts. And so what I'll do is just put a link to the web page that has all of the statewide term contracts on it, which is kind of the other FAQ that we got at the conference. And so I'll put a couple of these links in, and then we absolutely are here to guide you on any other service options and opportunities that line up with your needs.
Thank you.
You got it.
All right, Beth Ann, do you want to come off mute and tell us your wonderful story you just told in the chat?
I am stoked. This is Orange County. We have been working on this issue for a while, and so some of you who came to fall session for Nickel-Giza may have been part of some of the discussions that we had. But the NC Fast, which has always been an issue for those of us who are kind of medium-sized or small counties, they are now putting in the option, and they're not done yet. They've got like 5 counties. They haven't reached us yet, for people to have multiple roles inside of NC Fast with one NCID, which is huge for counties who have had to keep multiple email accounts because they needed those extra email accounts for people who did like the multiple little projects or the multiple little the roles. This is huge. There are some counties that are going to be saving $50,000 on email because of that change. And so I have to say, I know we started a lot of this discussion, but this has been going on for many, many, many years. And so when it hit my desk, I was like, holy crap! Oh my God! Okay, and I only have 2 people, but I recognize the fact that, you know, if you're a big county, you have lots of people, so it's not a big deal to assign out all those roles. When you're a small county, you suddenly end up with Cindy, who's the receptionist, who has this one weirdo role because you ain't got nobody else to give it to, and they have that one role. And so this is going to make a huge difference for those of us who are medium and small size, because we're going to be able to essentially get rid of all that extra overhead that we have had to put into place to kind of work around all that bureaucracy to make sure it works. Okay.
Right.
So I'm super stoked. The couple counties I've talked to said it has been working really well for them. They have felt like it has been very seamless in that process. So I don't know who all has been on the team on this, but I knew that today I wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to everybody, because for those of us who are on that front line that deal with this every day, this is a huge breakthrough.
Absolutely.
And this is going to make our lives so much easier. Now, still have to get in contact with everybody because I'm still on the waiting list, but still have to figure out how that works. But it's a great thing because, like I said, we have so many small counties that are in that situation where you just don't have enough bodies to go around to cover all of the things that we have to do. So that was my yay moment. Okay.
I knew Beth Ann, I knew you'd be more animated than I could to read your message. So thank you so much, Beth Ann, for sharing that information. And that is a big, big, big deal. So we appreciate you for sharing that. And we will share your sentiments with the other team members as well. So thank you
so much
for that. No problem. Thank you all so much for joining us on today. We truly appreciate you. The next meeting, as I can share again, the next meeting will be on September 3rd at 9:30. Thank you all, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.